Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're taking you on a really fascinating journey behind the scenes of Bollywood filmmaking. We're looking specifically into a new film called Sarzameen, the challenges for its new director, Kayoze Irani, and, well, the quite surprising story behind launching a brand new actor.
That's right. And our deep dive today, it's built on an exclusive interview with Kayoze Irani himself. So this isn't just, about the mechanics of making a movie. It's a rare glimpse, really, into the sheer grit and the unique creative choices you have to make to navigate this whole complex industry, from casting surprises to tackling some pretty sensitive themes.
Yeah, exactly. So our mission today is to unpack the most compelling stuff from this interview. We'll explore how these unexpected moments can lead to major breaks, the creative process behind a film dealing with delicate subjects, and a very candid look at legacy, paying your dues in entertainment. Get ready, because some of this might make you rethink a few things. It's genuinely insightful stuff. Okay, so let's start with maybe one of the biggest talking points. The casting of Ibrahim Alikhan. He is Saif Ali Khan's son, obviously, and his debut in Sarzameen. Well, the story feels almost like it couldn't be real. He wasn't really auditioning in the usual way, was he?
No, not at all. Not on the traditional sense. He was actually working as an assistant director, an AD, on the set of Kaio Irani Ki Prem Kahani. And the key moment, it was pretty unremarkable, really. He was just filling in for Ranveer Singh while they were setting up his shot. Standard procedure. But Karan Johar and Kayoze Irani were both there, sitting behind the monitor, just watching.
Okay, so just watching him stand there.
Yeah.
And what was it? What caught their eye?
Kayoze said it was just this gut feeling they both had simultaneously, like he had a face for the camera. Just that simple observation, but it was enough right then and there that led to the decision to launch him. It's pretty fascinating how an ordinary, functional moment on set can suddenly become this huge career opportunity.
Wow. It sounds almost too simple for such a big break, though. Was there more to it than just that glance?
Well, that initial start was key, definitely. But it wasn't the end of the story, not by a long shot. Kayoze Irani then put Ibrahim through a really intensive 6-month workshop with acting coach Atul Mongia. And this wasn't like a gentle intro. Ibrahim actually started with a proper army boot camp. Spent a week out in the jungle, no phone, no network. If he wanted to call anyone, he literally had to cycle to the nearest post office.
Get out.
Yeah.
That's intense. More than just running lines, then.
Oh, absolutely. Kayoze also spent a lot of time just talking with Ibrahim about his life, his journey. And Atul Mongia, he's known for this inner world approach, right? He helped Ibrahim really connect with the character by drawing from his own experiences. Kayoze even did test shoots, just to see how Ibrahim reacted to lights, backdrops, the whole technical side of being filmed.
And it's the first actual day shooting.
Yeah.
Sounds like jumping straight into the deep end. A dining table scene with Prithviraj Sukumaran and Kajol in Manali. That's high pressure.
It absolutely was. And here's where it gets even more interesting personally. A speech issue was already written into Ibrahim's character in Sarzameen, even before they cast him. Kayoze wanted this character to feel vulnerable, and he actually designed scenes around Ibrahim to deliberately bring out his real-life speech issues for relatability. It wasn't about hiding it. It was about, leveraging it for the performance.
So it actually became a character strength. That's a brilliant way for a director to tailor a role. Really leans into the actor's uniqueness. But there's also a bit of a timeline shuffle with his debut, right?
Yeah.
Sarzameen wasn't technically his first release.
Yeah, that's right. It was meant to be his first film, the big launch. But another film, Nadanyan, ended up releasing first because Sarzameen got hit with these significant delays. Despite that, Kayoze Irani seems really firm in his belief in Ibrahim's future. He stressed that Ibrahim will have to work hard, just like any other actor. Kayoze put it like, the door's open, but now it's up to him to own it himself. Makes you think, doesn't it? How much is that initial break and how much is the work after?
That's a great point. And it leads us nicely into the making of Sarzameen itself, because making the film wasn't exactly smooth sailing, was it? Those delays you mentioned.
Oh, it was massively delayed. That's the term Kayoze used. Really tough breaks. First, Prithviraj Sukumaran broke his knee while working on another film, a Malayalam movie, that completely halted all the action scenes they needed to shoot. And then Kayoze Irani himself suffered a double slip disc, needed complete bed rest. You can imagine for a first-time feature director, these were huge setbacks.
Wow, talk about bad luck just piling up.
Yeah.
But even with all that, he managed to get some incredible actors involved. How did he actually get stars like Prithviraj and Kajol on board?
Well, Prince Firaz was the first one they approached. They sent him this pretty substantial 50-page outline. And the story goes he was shooting a Duji Vitam in Georgia, and there was this massive sandstorm happening outside. So he apparently hid in a car and read the whole thing on his phone. And by that evening, he called Karan Johar, just said, I love this. I'm on. Let's do this.
Seriously, that quick. Just from reading it on his phone in a sandstorm. That's amazing. And Kajol. She's known for being pretty selective.
Kayoze said he was very clear he wanted her right from day one. Even though, as a first-time director, he felt a bit pessimistic about his chances. He went to her office, did the narration himself, and she accepted right after hearing it, called back and just said, I love it, let's do it. It really shows how a strong vision from a director can cut through, even if they're doubting themselves.
Definitely seems like he had a clear vision. Especially since Sarzameen apparently touches on some very sensitive political ground, particularly around Kashmir. How did he handle that without, causing offense?
His approach was quite specific. He designed it fundamentally as a family drama. He even uses this metaphor. The tough father represents India, the undercover mother represents Pakistan, and the son, caught in the middle, that's Kashmir. But crucially, Kayoze was very, very clear his intention was not to offend anyone. He explicitly stated that no country or religion is actually mentioned by name in the film. It's all by design.
And he took extra steps to make sure of that, didn't he? Like getting it checked?
He did. Both the script and the final cut of the film were actually vetted by the Indian Army. His main goal, he emphasized, was to make a commercial film, something entertaining that audiences could connect with internally. Rather than making it, preachy or overtly political, it's a really tricky balance to achieve.
Yeah, incredibly difficult. Did he talk about any specific artistic influences, like for the look or feel?
He did mention a couple of things. For the background music, he said he's heavily influenced by Hans Zimmer. I mean, who isn't? And for visual references, he specifically pointed to the climax of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series on Disney Plus D, that big fight between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan. He drew inspiration from that for his own film's climax. And he made the point that Star Wars itself, at its core, is really a father-son drama, which clearly connects back to his own interests.
Ah, right. That recurring theme of family drama seems central for him. Okay, so the film's out, it's getting reactions, and apparently there's an outrageous twist involving the mother character. What was Kayoze's thinking behind that? Was he worried it would be controversial?
Oh, he was definitely aware that critics might find it out of nowhere, as he put it. He admitted he tried to sprinkle breadcrumbs throughout the film, hints leading up to it, and there's a recall moment in the epilogue to try and tie it all together. Looking back, he did say maybe he could have given a bit more context, but he was worried people would guess the twist too early if he did. It's that classic filmmaker's gamble, isn't it? Surprise versus foreshadowing.
Right. How much do you give away? And how does he feel about the feedback overall? Especially if critics and regular audiences had different takes.
He's quite pragmatic about it. He calls the audience his boss. For test screenings, he actually preferred showing it to regular people rather than film people. He felt he'd get more unbiased opinions that way. He mentioned getting contradictory notes on the pacing of the first half hour. Some found it too fast, some too slow. Typical feedback loop, maybe. But he said the biggest plus from those regular audience screenings was actually the twist itself. They liked it, unlike some critics. Ultimately, for Kayoze, it's the audience that decides if he gets to make another film. He seems committed to learning from all the feedback, positive and negative.
That's a very grounded way to look at it for a director navigating his first big feature. Let's pivot a bit to Kayoze Irani's own journey. His path to directing wasn't exactly straight, was it? He acted first.
Not exactly straight, no. He started out as an assistant director on Ek Mein Aur Ek Tu, but then Karan Johar offered him an acting role in Student of the Year. Apparently, Johar just found his face interesting.
Yeah.
Kayoze took the role, and interestingly, he later found that experience of being in front of the camera actually helped him when he directed Ibrahim, guiding a debut actor.
Huh. So that acting detour wasn't really a detour. It actually fed back into his directing ambitions. That's quite neat.
It really is. After Student of the Year, his focus went right back to directing, though. He worked as an AD again on films like Bombay Talkies and Less Stories. He was also an associate director on Takt, that big historical film that ultimately didn't get made. Then he directed a short film, Ankahi, before finally getting his chance with Sarzamin. He jokes now that he's a retired actor and a full-time director. It definitely sounds like he put in the time step by step.
And you mentioned a thematic link earlier. Seems like there's a recurring idea in his work. Something about parents and children.
Yes, exactly. There's this noticeable pattern, particularly in his short film and now Sarzameen, of parents dealing differently with a child who's perceived as having some kind of disability or challenge. Often, it's the mother figure urging the father figure towards understanding rather than judgment. Kayoze was quick to clarify this isn't like autobiographical from his own family life, which he says was happy. It's more his fascination with interpersonal stories, family conflict. He shared something quite personal, too. He said he doesn't really cry in real life, but movies make him cry. He mentioned Bajrangi Bhaijaan, Ye Jawani Hai Diwani, even Argo, all films with strong underlying human or family emotions. That tells you a lot about what resonates with him.
That's a lovely insight, actually. And speaking of family, there's his father, the legendary Bomani Irani. It's quite something, both father and son directing their first features in the same year.
It's pretty remarkable, isn't it? And Boman Irani's film, The Meta Boys, is also a father-son story. Coincidence, maybe, but interesting. Kayoze confirmed they 100% share notes, look at each other's scripts and edits. It sounds like a very collaborative relationship. He described growing up watching movies constantly with his dad, even listening to directors' commentaries together. They saw cinema as a temple. Kayoze actually calls his father his lucky charm and insists on having him in all his films, even if it's a small role Bowman might not normally take.
That speaks volumes about their bond, and Boman Irani himself is often seen as a late bloomer in acting, having done so many other things first. What does Kayoze take away from that unusual career path?
Yeah, Bowman's journey is really something waiter, shopkeeper, photographer, theater actor, then film star at 45 to director at 65. But Kayoze said what he takes away isn't so much the list of achievements, but more the man he is. He even quoted his favorite line from his own film, Sarzameen, saying it reflects how he feels about his dad. माँ से जितना भी प्यार माइल बना वो अपने बाप जैसा चाहता है, which roughly translates to, no matter how much love a mother gives, a son still wants to be like his father. It's a really powerful sentiment about influence and connection.
Wow. Okay, and finally, we kind of have to address the elephant in the room here. Nepotism. It's such a huge topic in Bollywood. How does Kayoze Irani, being Boman Irani's son, directing a film produced by Kajol, how does he tackle that subject?
He tackles it really head on. Surprisingly candid, actually. He admitted he suspected it happened after the release, meaning he expected the nepotism accusations, but said it hasn't really materialized as much as he thought. And then he just states it plainly. Am I a product of nepotism? Yes. Did doors open for me more easily? Yes.
That's very
Okay.
direct. And it raises that complex question again, doesn't it? He clearly puts in the work. But that initial open door, how much does that shape things in an industry people see as quite closed off?
It's definitely a complex dynamic. Kayoze immediately balances that admission by talking about hard work. He mentioned that on his very first day assisting, he was literally given a broom and told to sweep the floor at Yash Raj's studio. His perspective seems to be, yes, the door might open, but then it's his job to walk into that door and make it on my own. He emphasizes that the audience is the ultimate judge. He also makes a point defending Karan Johar, saying Johar has actually launched more first-time directors than almost anyone, and most of them don't come from film families. So it highlights that maybe connections get you a chance, but surviving and thriving past that point takes a whole lot more.
Yeah. So this deep dive today has really given us a window into Kayoze Irani's world, hasn't it? From these almost accidental opportunities like Ibrahim Alikhan getting spotted just filling in on set to the really personal journey of a director who's, both part of the system and clearly trying to learn and grow within it.
Absolutely. We've seen how a director has to navigate these huge creative challenges, production nightmares, sensitive subjects that need careful handling, and his views on audience feedback, his deep connection to his father's journey. It all paints this really rich picture of what it takes to create and find your own voice in a place like Bollywood.
So as you go about your day, here's maybe something to think about. In an industry like this, one that often feels quite impenetrable from the outside, how much do things like family background and connections truly shape someone's path? And how much is down to the audience's reaction and just sheer hard work once that initial door maybe opens a bit easier? What does it really mean to pay your dues in that kind of environment?
Definitely something to mull over. Until next time, keep diving deep into the stories that make you curious.